So for the last few years, I've had this theory that I didn't think chiros truly understood marketing and how to run their own business. And I truly thought like there was this wave that came through of Facebook advertising and COVID that I think like bloated practices success. And now the people who are doing the same activities that they were doing, a couple of years ago, it's not working anymore and they're failing. And I'm seeing more and more of them fail faster. And I'm actually like, think that if they don't change soon, they might end up closing their doors. And they don't, the frustrating thing is they don't like, they're doing the same activity. And they're like, why is it not working anymore? It's because everything's changed. So I found this graph, not that one, I'll put one up behind me. But I found this graph of probably one of the only listed companies, like chiropractic companies. And you can see on the graph, if I get out of the way far enough, there's this big peak, right? So this is a 10-year span. There's a peak in 2021, 2022. Do you want to know what was happening in 2021, 2022? Freaking COVID was on. We were essential services. So we were like one of the only places that were open where people could go. Because people weren't out spending money, they saved. So they had spare cash. And then because of all the other businesses weren't essential services, our Facebook advertising went bonkers because there was no competition. And then since then, I would say end of 2022, you can kind of see it on the graph there, things have gotten worse. And if you're doing the activities that you're doing in this, let's call it the gold rush of Chiro and Facebook marketing, if you're still doing those things, they're not working anymore. And that's why it's failing. And the problem is back then in this gold rush time, there was no need for anyone to understand truly how to digitally market. You could literally put up an image. I'm pretty sure Aaron tells the story. He had like a picture image of a guy holding a red cape or something. And there's like a bull going through. And that was like an ad that he ran that got like the cheapest leads ever. And if you try to run that now, you would just get smacked. And it's purely because the market's changed. So this video is to help you understand how marketing works, how funnels work, what the fundamental systems are, because you don't have to digitally market. You can do old school marketing in this same thing, but the idea of a funnel is it's a sales process and everyone has to have a sales process. So you need to understand what all the different levels are, what the actions are at each stage, so that you can actually start to build one out and get some consistency. Okay. So to start off with, this was, I don't know if he designed the funnel or like whatever, but a guy called Russell Brunson, he sort of coined this thing. He was the best at explaining it. Then people like Alex Hormozy came through and they, gave their own interpretations. Australian guy Sabri Subi did a similar thing. So the fundamental concept of this is you will start off with like more people, you get their attention, and then you put them into your sales process to become customers. At each point in time, there's different things that you can focus on, and different pinch points. But ultimately, you're not going to get every single person in the world like get their attention, but you've got to start by getting attention to get customers. Now, the biggest problem I think chiros have is we don't understand traffic. So we don't understand what attention is. If we work with a marketing agency, they will get us like a lead capture service. Our calls, if someone calls us as a new patient, we can like book them in, but the intent's very high from the actual person booking. And then when we get down into like the new patient exam and the report of findings stage, that's where we spend all our energy. So we've gone in and like built all the back end stuff and we focus so much there that we've forgotten that no one can see us and we're invisible. And Facebook's been out, like Facebook in the past was able to make you visible, but it's not as effective anymore. Okay. So starting from the top, starting with traffic. So this overall thing is a funnel, and I'll tell you why funnels, I don't think we actually operate in a funnel, but you need to understand what a funnel is first. So overall funnel, up the top, you've got traffic. Now in an e-commerce world, get as much attention as you can into your funnel so that you can get like a percentage at the bottom. So you get 100 eyeballs, you might get 5 customers, you got a 5% conversion rate. Cool. Where that traffic can come from is fucking anywhere. Okay, you can get traffic from literally anything. If we go the most obvious one that chiros use, it's Facebook advertising. Facebook advertising, you're literally paying for impressions, which are eyeballs. You're literally paying for people's attention. 10,000 people see a post, you might get 5 to 10 leads a week. That's what you're doing. You're like getting them to move to the next stage, okay? Other ways to get traffic, paid avenues, that's like Meta's obviously Instagram and Facebook. Google is another one. So SEO optimizations, these are the two that you probably see around. Then if you want to continue on the digital train, you can do YouTube, TikTok, like Snapchat. I don't know if that's still really a thing. Podcasts, and then they're kind of like the digital world. And emails. So it's like, those are the things that you can digitally plug in. Then obviously that's the paid method. There is free method like organic content as well, which you don't put money behind, but it gets people's attention if you do it well. Then it's like, okay, if you don't want to do digital marketing, what else can you do? Well, you can do screens, pop-ups, health talks. You can get newspaper articles. They still exist. Radio, you can get on the radio if you're not in a massive city. You can do letterbox drops. You can do markets. You can get signage on the door at your building. You can drop flyers off. You can have business cards. Traffic is literally just getting in front of people's eyeballs, okay? Once you understand traffic, you will appreciate what Facebook marketing is supposed to be and what posting and building a personal brand is all about. It is about getting traffic, getting eyeballs to find the people to come to your practice. It's as simple as that. Chiro's never focused on this. We focus on this new patient process part. And that's why everything is so freaking stressful, because you can't get enough new patients because you don't understand what traffic is. You don't know how to generate traffic. Facebook, you can turn on traffic like that. And that's why Facebook marketing agencies hit Chiro so hard, because it gets the attention. Okay. It's like, we don't know what we're doing. These guys can get that traffic that we don't know. Great relationship. However, that traffic's getting harder to turn into the first stage of the funnel, which is a lead. So a lead is someone has given you their details to be able to contact them. So on Facebook, you put up an ad, you put up a lead form or a landing page, and essentially you're trying to capture name, phone number, and their email so that you can call them, message them, or email them your offer. That's what a lead is. If you think Facebook, that's what that is. So Facebook comes in, you're trying to get those details. Google's the same thing, so that you may have an offer page where they fill in their details. So you're doing that with Google as well. Essentially you bring, and this is like where website design and all that sort of stuff comes in, where you're just trying to collect their information so that you can contact them. Now, some other ways that you can contact people, if you actually think of all these other things here, is you can drop all of your business cards off at someone else's business. Someone else picks that up and they call you. Now you've got their details, right? Like, there's so many other ways to do this. You stand in a market stall, you have a piece of paper and people say, oh, great, here's my details, give me a call on Monday. That's the same for screens, pop-ups, health talks, newspaper articles. You'd be like, give us your details here. Like, that's what we're trying to do. And you'll probably notice now, whenever you go on someone's website, or if you go and download something, or you do anything in any other business, the first thing they ask for is your name and email. They're trying to generate leads. That's what that is. So all you're trying to do is get in contact with the person so you can start a conversation. If you've guessed it already, the next step there is having the conversation. Like, how do you actually turn that conversation into a booking? Now, if we just go back a step and we think of personal branding, do you want to know how else you can contact someone when you have a personal brand? You make organic posts, you generate conversations inside of Instagram, like DMs. You're contacting someone, you're talking to someone. So you don't necessarily need people's emails anymore, because we can have conversations with people online through Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if you can do it on TikTok or anything. I don't really use it, but you can literally generate that same idea without collecting anything just yet. So the whole point of having attention is to turn it into get their details and start talking to them. That's it. Now, traditionally, at this level, if you collect someone's details, so just because someone gives you their name, email, and phone number, that does not mean that they're going to talk to you. And if you've ever ran leads or done Facebook calls, like new patient calls, they don't answer. They'll even tell you that they didn't put their stuff in there. Somehow they believe that. But if you can get that lead, the next job then is to get that lead talking. We recommend you pick the freaking phone up and you call them. There is AI software now that's doing that. I'm a little bit against it, but that's what it's doing. You can SMS them. You can message them in Instagram. Facebook, you can technically, if you're at the market and you get their details and you're talking to them, then that's kind of, you're talking to them as well. It's like prospecting. You're talking to them and essentially qualifying them if they're right for your thing. So prospecting literally is just a matter of how do you talk to someone about taking up your offer to becoming a new patient. That's really the complexity of it. Now, on a digital world, a lot of us as chiros, we just want to help, and we'll overdiagnose through and try and help online. Just, you don't need to do that. So if someone messages you and you just have a conversation, all you need to think is the next thing, the only thing you need to make sense is the new patient booking. So if someone's like, oh, I've got this problem, this problem, this problem, you can be like, oh, it sounds like this. What about when you do this? And it's like the start of the new patient consult. And you're going to get to a point naturally where you're just like, oh, well, I think the next best thing is to check it out. Do you want to book a consult? That's basically where you're getting to. If you find you're sending big, thick, long messages, you're overdiagnosing. These should just be like 1-point questions, exactly the same as the new patient process. Like when you're taking a history, you're not sitting there talking too much. You're literally just guiding someone through a process because you need to hear what's going on and make sure that you can help them. So that's basically what prospecting is. Now, as you go through each layer here, you will notice that like at the start, you got a lot of like a lot more people. So let's say that's 100 people at the top here. To get people into leads, there's going to be less, like not all 100 people are going to do it. And to be honest, the numbers are, I can do it backwards. I can never do it forwards. Something like this, 30, 40, cool. So from the traffic that you get, you will get leads. Now from the leads, there's 60% of people who sort of sit up the top there. In terms of the prospecting and conversation, you probably get about 20%. I've seen it up to about 50%. Typically your lead to actual booking conversion sits at about 50%, or is pretty similar to whatever you convert at inside the practice. Then new patient, you'll get about 17% of that overall flow. And then actually turning into a client can become like 3% when compared to total traffic. There's another conversation though. So when we have our conversations with people, we're just trying to turn them into the next stage. So you don't need to convert them into care. You just need to get their details, get them talking to you. Once they're talking to you, get them to book in a new patient exam. So you have a customer stage, which is the new patient exam, which might be the ones that you've probably seen are $49 offers. I don't love them. I'd actually rather like a 99 or something higher, but you do need an offer when you advertise. Or if you're not making an offer, you just say like my consult cost is $200. Like you don't have to have an offer. An offer is specifically for like advertising. Anyway, when they become a customer, they've made one purchase, so they're not in. They've just made the first purchase, which might be the new patient consult, right? Now, in this level, I don't really probably need to tell you what to do because you've probably got a new patient process, so you're probably fine. And technically, the new patient process runs from new patient right through till you're actually explaining their results and the report of findings. Because once you move to that part, so you do the new patient consult, you get the data. Now you're going through their results. If they choose to continue care, they're now a client. In our world, they're a patient. Okay, it's the same thing. But as you come down, you'll notice like not everyone who sees your ad is going to book in. Those who do book in aren't going to talk, like not all of them are going to talk to you. Those that you're talking to aren't all going to book a new patient exam. And then all of those that do a new patient exam aren't necessarily going to start care. Most of them do, but not all of them will. And then you're going to end up with some clients, which is like good stuff. Yay, we're busy. This process here, as I said, I don't really need to go through. The caveat to all of this is that in an e-commerce world or like other industries, once they make this sale down the bottom here, it's like done. It's like, you're right, cool, I bought this Chiro table, it cost me $5,000, done. When we do it, say it costs $2,000, you then have to get that person through $2,000 worth of care. So then it's like there's this continual ongoing thing. And I actually think we have like another layer sort of down here. And I think that's where like people would call it retention typically. I would just call it like fulfillment, like actually fulfilling the care that you said you were going to do. But it's like we then have to work on finishing off the thing that we sold and building the relationship. So that there, and I pop these here. So a lead stays the same. Prospecting, calls, messages, new patient consult is our customers because they've made one smaller purchase. Then in the ROF, they become a patient or a client because they've bought into the bigger thing. But if we actually want them to complete that, then we have to have that whole process of like that patient journey. So that there is like in comparison to your sales process and why building a personal brand is important and why Facebook advertising is important and why all these other things are important and they're not evil, because they all should complement one another. Like it all leads down to the same thing. And if you start, for example, Facebook advertising, you get more eyeballs on your stuff. You may also get more eyeballs on your website, which may come through as a Google lead, but overall it's because of that increase in traffic that's led to that Google lead. You might get someone see your Facebook ad online, walk down the street and then go, that's that chiro that I saw online. And it's like, well, which one is it? It's neither, it's both, right? It's like, it's traffic, it's attention, it's eyeballs. You got to keep showing up in front of people so that you can get their details, so that you can talk to them, so that you can do your new patient process, so that you can start to look after them. So this here, I think if I was to talk on like what I think's happened during COVID, what happened was Facebook advertising got a inflated amount of attention because like there was no one else advertising. We were kind of the only people open. Then marketing agencies had a lead capture process for people. You probably didn't need to, like you probably still made the phone calls, but it probably wasn't as difficult to get them in. Then when they did become a customer, we all did our new patient exams. We all thought it was great. Then because they had more savings, more money, i.e. they then became patients easier because they had nothing else to do and had the money to spend. And that real blip in the system, it was so easy to not understand the fundamental game, right? Like the game is turn attention into new patients. And when you get really good at this, you can get really good at like the specific attention that you want to get. Like you're getting traffic, but you're getting a certain type of traffic, which may result in a more efficient funnel, so that you're actually getting people in the door that you really want to work with. But that's, that takes time to build. And that's really what personal branding 101 is. It's like, know the attention that you want and then turn that into customers in a really efficient manner. Now, the thing, and like what I said about how this kind of isn't a funnel for us, is in an e-commerce world, it's just a volume game, right? So they'll just be like, if we lived in a town of 100,000 people, they would be like, all right, let's get in front of all 100,000 people, and then let's see what the percentage is that falls through our funnel, and that's how we're going to rate our funnel. Might be 3%, whatever. Then they just move on to the next place because it's an e-commerce. You can't do that. You're brick and mortar. Like you're in the one place. So if you piss off the 100,000 people, guess what? You're stuffed. Like you're either going to have to move or you're going to be playing catch up. So what we have to do is we have to nurture longer. So you can think of a funnel like you tip water in it and it just sort of goes straight through it. I actually think what we have to do is recycle. And recycling is just giving people more time when they're not ready. So if our traffic does become a lead, I'll do it on this side, and then this lead doesn't talk to us, like that stage doesn't happen, we then need to redirect those leads back to that traffic. And what I mean by that traffic is the ads, the Instagram, seeing your websites, like they're getting nurtured by more stuff so that they've got more time spent with you. Because then if they do come through as a lead again, maybe they will become a prospect and we will talk to them. And we'll be like, okay, yep, sounds like this is, the next stage is going to be a new patient exam. Then they might be like, I'm just not ready. So, okay, then put them back up there. And it's like recycle it, let them see more stuff until they fully understand what you're doing. They're ready to move to the next stage. Again, they might become a new patient, do the new patient process, and then they're not ready to do the, start care. It's fine. Send them back to the top again. Like send them back, nurture them with Instagram, like organic posts, let them keep seeing your ads. Let them spend time on your website and just keep helping them. One of the other really good ways to do it is through email. So as soon as you get someone's email, just email them free, useful advice with no call to action. It's just like, hey, this is helpful info once a week. If you just wrote one email a week, doesn't even have to be long. You're just like, here's some free advice that helped me. Here you go. If you did that for long enough, someone moving through this process would eventually become a patient. You just need to be prepared to play a game that's longer than putting up an ad and starting care. It might take 2 years for this to happen, for that person to get through that process enough time to book in. But that's just the way it is, because unfortunately that blip in the system of COVID gave us the idea that we could just put an ad up, get a patient, they would start care. And it was like, boom, doesn't work anymore. They need more time. They've got to make other decisions with money. They don't have time to just come in anymore. There's other businesses advertising. Things are getting more expensive. So you need to be more trustworthy. And understanding that people need more time and then giving them the time and the information that they need to make a decision, that's how you build trust. So long-winded way of getting around the whole sort of problem, but that's like the fundamentals of marketing. You pick your vessel of how you want to get attention, work out how that attention then is going to turn into getting people's details, or at least having a conversation with someone. Once you're having a conversation, all you're trying to do is see if they are the right person to come in for a new patient exam. Then I feel like I don't need to tell you. I feel like you know your new patient exam process, but then you're selling them to the report of findings, and then you're telling them what you need to do in terms of care. Like that half of the funnel is pretty well done. But yeah, that's the overall system. So, and then ultimately, I think ours isn't really a funnel. It's kind of more of like a refilling thing, self-perpetuating cycle. And if you're doing that properly, you're nurturing people for a longer time, building more trust, and you're never going to burn out of that, community of 100,000 people, because internal referrals, all that sort of stuff will happen as well. But anyway, hope that helps.